Good morning, happy new week, and welcome to Sports Central, live and exclusive on Spectrum Television, all the way from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuren in Gaucho State, Akwa Ibom. My name is Mfoni Tina. Quite excited to be back on your screens and bringing you the latest stories in the world of sport. We have stories scattered across cricket, athletics. We've got tennis stories at the Roland Garros. Alexander Zverev finally got his hands on the big one, and he had lots of legends, Carlos Alcaraz, Rafael Nadal, all coming out to congratulate the man. Finally, 4 times at the major Grand Slam final, and finally got his hands on one. We'll also talk about Mira Andreeva getting past the qualifier Maja Swialinska to get her hands on a Grand Slam. We'll also look at football, where it's been friendly games galore, and African teams beginning to show their momentum, beginning to show their quality, as well as Egypt were able to go toe-to-toe with Brazil before succumbing to a 2-1 loss. We also talk about Danish Christian Eriksen, who had another collapse on the field. Concerning times for the Danish international team, concerning times for Christian Eriksen, and lots of pundits and football lovers are asking the man to call it quits. It's not enough to just go out there and put your life on the line. But we'll look at all these stories and even more on the flip side of the show. Remember, you can follow us on all social media handles. Head to Facebook at Spectrum TV Nigeria. Go to Instagram. Go to X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as TikTok. And also, most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can keep abreast of all our amazing content. We'll take just a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll start with cricket, where the Nigeria Cricket Federation is in the running for 2 honors at the 2025 ICC Development Awards, which will be announced in July after emerging as a regional winner in Africa. On Friday, the ICC announced the 30 regional winners for the 2025 ICC Development Awards, with Nigeria leading Africa in 2 of the 7 categories. Nigeria's first regional win came in the ICC Associate Member Women's Team Performance of the Year category, which recognizes the outstanding on-field performance of a women's team from an associate member nation in an ICC event or bilateral series. Last year, Nigeria's junior female Yellow Greens made a statement at the ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup in Malaysia with an impressive 6th place finish, helping Nigeria emerge as Africa's regional winner in the category. They will now compete against Brazil, the United Arab Emirates, Japan, and Scotland for the global prize. The second nomination for the NCF is the ICC Creole Cricket Festivals category, which recognizes an outstanding festival delivered by an ICC associate member. As part of the ICC Creole Cricket Festival program, Nigeria delivered cricket introduction festivals across different cities in 2025, and will now contend with Bahrain, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, and Brazil for the global prize. Established in 2002, the ICC Development Awards recognize and celebrate the work undertaken by ICC members in emerging nations to grow the game globally. Now we'll go to tennis, where Alexander Zverev realized a lifelong dream on Sunday at the Roland Garros, where he defeated first-time Slam finalist Flavio Cobolli 6-1, 4-6, 6-4, 6-7, 6-1 to claim his first major title in Paris. In an engrossing clash on court Philippe Chatrier, Zverev was the steady-out player in the first and third sets before he showed an abundance of resilience in a one-sided final set. After Cobolli clawed his way back to win a dramatic fourth set tiebreak with a scorching forehand winner, Zverev refused to let the opportunity slip away. Having come within 3 points of victory in the 4th set, the 29-year-old reset impressively and took the match to the Italian in the 5th, sealing a hard-fought 4-hour, 16-minute triumph. Overcome with emotion, Zverev collapsed to the clay after converting match point before sharing a warm embrace with Cobolli. For Zverev, the triumph represents another crowning achievement of a career that has long placed him amongst the game's elite. Since breaking through on the ATP Tour in 2016, the German has won 2 NITO ATP final titles, 7 ATP Masters 1000 crowns, and an Olympic gold medal in singles. Yet until Sunday, a major triumph had remained just out of reach. Now to the WTA category, where teenager Mira Andreeva won her first Grand Slam title as Polish qualifier. Maja Swialinska was denied a fairy tale French Open victory. Andreeva, who is 19, fulfilled the potential she has long shown with a 6-3, 6-2 victory over an opponent who was a 500-to-1 odds outsider before the tournament. Russian 8th seed Andreeva is the youngest woman to win the Roland Garros title since Monica Seles in 1992. After securing victory in 1 hour and 22 minutes, Andreeva fell to the court in elation before quickly running up to the stands for a warm embrace with her coach, Conchita Martinez, who is herself a former major champion after winning Wimbledon in 1994. Back down to the country, especially in Uyo, where over 350 golfers within and outside Nigeria converged in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, for the 2026 Ibom Open Tournament. The 2026 Ibom Open Tournament, powered by Sheep Africa, began from the 4th to 7th of June 2026. The chairman, planning committee of the tournament, Honorable Usenobong Akpabio, briefed newsmen at the Ibom Golf and Country Clubhouse at the Ibom Hotel and Golf Resort in Uyo as participants arrived. The tournament proper kick-started on Friday over Saturday, while Sunday was for the championship. According to him, a former captain of the club said this was a one-day tournament in the previous years, but his year was expanded to a 3-day tournament. 2 days for qualifiers and 1 day for the championship. He said that Ibom Golf and Country Club is the best golf course in Nigeria, and it is the only golf resort in West Africa. Many awards in different categories were given. The winner of the championship, Prince Will Albert Akpan of Ibom Golf Club, received a free business class ticket to fly to anywhere by the Uganda airline. The tournament has attracted many golfers across Africa, including golfers from Ghana, Zimbabwe, and Cameroon, promoting tourism and economic activities in Akwa Ibom State. The captain of Ibom Golf and Country Club, Mr. Iswad Chibong, said the tournament will continue to showcase Akwa Ibom State's hospitality to the world. The representative of the title sponsor, Sheep Africa, Mr. Ubong Ekwere, in his remarks said Ibom Open Tournament has indeed come to stay. Away from that, would go to Formula One, where Kimi Antonelli took a dominant victory in the Monaco Grand Prix ahead of the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton after a chaotic ending that featured 2 safety cars and a red flag. The 19-year-old Italian's 5th win in a row, in combination with a dire race for Mercedes teammate George Russell, who finished 12th and out of the points, puts him in a commanding position in the championship. Antonelli leads Hamilton by 66 points, with Russell now down to 3rd, 2 points further adrift. Russell dropped to the back from third place because of a drive-through penalty that he had to serve when the field was compressed 2 laps after the restart. Pierre Gasly finished third for Alpine, but was immediately dropped to 7th with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That promoted Red Bull's Isaac Hadjar to the final podium position ahead of McLaren's Oscar Piastri on the occasion of the team's 1000th Grand Prix. Now to football, where Christian Eriksen was conscious and undergoing further tests in the hospital after collapsing during Denmark's friendly against Ukraine, which forced the game to be abandoned. Eriksen, who's 34, appeared to grab his chest before falling to the ground in the 65th minute of the international fixture in the Danish city of Odense, with Norwegian referee Sigurd Smørs Krikstad calling the game off in the 79th minute due to the incident involving the VfL Wolfsburg midfielder. The former Manchester United and Tottenham player previously suffered a cardiac arrest and had to be resuscitated on the pitch during Denmark's Euro 2020 encounter with Finland in Copenhagen in June 2021. Eriksen was subsequently fitted with a special heart-starting device known as an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, and after being released by Inter Milan, was able to relaunch his playing career with Premier League team Brentford in February 2022, just 8 months after collapsing against Finland. Denmark and Ukraine players surrounded Eriksen while he was being treated. A hush fell over the crowd before a chant of his name went around Nature Energy Park in Odense, Denmark. That's all we have for you on Sport Wrap Up this morning. Take a quick breather. We'll be right back.
An exciting morning to be back right here to talk about sports development on Spectrum Television. Well, at the first part of the show, we brought you some big and trending stories emanating from the world of sports. But now, we'll be extensively looking at conversations surrounding sports activities that happened over the course of the weekend. Well, one of the most predominant conversations has been the emerging champions over the course of the weekend in the world of tennis. One man won his first Grand Slam in his career. Many would say it has been quite an illustrious career, but the Grand Slam has eluded him. We'll look at the WT as well. We'll also take a look at the world of Formula One as we had a Grand Prix over the course of the weekend, as well as the world of football. I am Otabe David, and I'm so delighted to be here. Well, Fonabong Itina joins the conversation, and together we'll be doing justice to what's happening in the exciting world of sports. Good morning to you, Mfon. A delight to be back.
Excited to be back with you here. We're talking about a weekend that was filled with lots of friendly actions. Lots of people now beginning to take African teams serious. What's the quality of at least maybe a bulk of these African teams doing the friendly games? People say it's friendly games, but trust me, from friendlies you could get a little bit of some insight into what will happen on the pitch of play. So I'm quite excited about this year's World Cup. Let's see how far African teams would go.
Let's see how far African teams can go. Would be, of course, a question on the lips of many in the build-up to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Well, let's begin the conversation from the world of tennis this morning, and it has to do with the ATP Tour, the Roland Garros that happened over the course of the weekend. And one man, the German international Alexander Zverev, yes, won his first Grand Slam major title at the Roland Garros, completing lifelong dream. It has always been the dream for the man to win a Grand Slam. That has eluded his career. He got the better of Flavio Cobolli. The game ended 6-1, 4-6, 6-4, and 6-7 to claim his first major title in Paris. It was quite a game where many were looking forward to see as well. Flavio Cobolli was also entering in this particular competition as a first-time finalist at this major event. About the German international, at a point where the likes of Novak Djokovic, Yannick Sinner were all booted out of the competition. Many were still asking questions as regards whether or not Alexander Zverev will be able to get and bring this a particular opportunity that was also before him and capitalize on that and win a title. Well, if I could recall when we had this conversation, I remember I was on the other side where Vladon was here, and I said I will be very disappointed if Alexander Zverev doesn't win this particular title. And he did it just like I expected. First Grand Slam in his career.
Well, definitely, I think it's a major boost for Alexander Zverev now. Finally, he's gotten what has eluded him for quite a long time. It's not for lack of trying. He's been at this stage 3 times before now.
Absolutely.
I finally got it at his 4th time. So I think it shows that Zverev is one of the game's elite. Even without winning a Grand Slam, you can always...
He's always there, the top 10.
Exactly. It's just what it is. So you go back to all the maybe finals he's lost. It's either Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, or Novak Djokovic. He's not lost to anyone below him. So when you look at it, it's almost as if he's just after Carlos Alcaraz and the likes of them, he's leading the rest of the bunch. Not much time, not a lot of times where you get to see Alexander Zverev being involved in an upset. It's quite very rare before you see that happens. It's always Yannick Sinner beating him maybe at a quarterfinal or a semi-final, or Carlos Alcaraz or Novak Djokovic. So finally, getting it when these players are not available, it shows that he's definitely someone who's got quality as well. I'm quite excited for him. Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz all sent congratulatory messages to the guy, and it's very exciting to see Zverev finally get his hands on the Grand Slam at 28. Maybe some would say too late, but finally he's done it.
Well, finally he's done it. Many would say better late than never. Most times you can actually have dreams that may not actually materialize at the point where you expect it, but the fact that it has come, it means you have successfully achieved whatever you dreamt of. And it also, to a large extent, according to many tennis followers, never do not give up. It might come later, it might come sooner, but that's just what it is for the story of Alexander Zverev. But away from that now to WTA competition, it was a case of relatively so unknown names at the finals of the major event, and I'm talking about Mara Andreeva, a teenager, 19 years old, against a qualifier, and I'm talking about Maja Kwalinska. But it was Mara Andreeva who overpowered Maja Kwalinska to win this particular Grand Slam title. And it was also her first Grand Slam in her young career. She got the better of Kwalinska 6-3, 6-2 at the French Open at the Stade Roland Garros just on Saturday. The number 8 seed from Russia prevailed over the qualifier, and world number 114 from Poland. But the very fact that she was able to make it to the finals, many would say this also been quite a big achievement for the qualifier. But Mara Andreeva, she has kept trying. I could recall, I think last year, she was always fond of, defeating top players at the WTA, level. But being able to, get her hands on a Roland Garros at the age of 19. Many would say the likes of, Coco Gauff started this way, but then consistency would be a thing for her. But deserving champion over the weekend.
Definitely, I think for Miriam Andreeva, she's finally done the big one now, becoming the youngest Roland Garros winner since 1992. So that's quite a lot of history. So good for her. For Maja Swiatek as well, she might have lost spot 116 heading to this competition in the world, and she's at the final of the Grand Slam. I think that's very, very commendable for Swiatek, and it's quite good to see the level of dominance now this tennis at the women's tennis. Talking about the likes of Irina Zabalenka, Coco Gauff in this competition, Amanda Anisimova, Lena Rybakina, but all couldn't get the win in this one, and we're getting a 19-year-old winning the French Open. I think I'm very excited. I'm excited to see what the future holds for Miriam Andreeva, because I feel she's a lady who can go as far as possible. Her ceiling is quite high up there, and she just has to keep doing what she's doing, keep up the consistency. At 19, she's world done by 8. It's not a lot of time to get to see a 19-year-old being world done by 8. So she's world number 8 for a reason. So I just want to see how she progresses from here. I'm not going to expect her to win more Grand Slams before the end of the year, but the WTA competitions, 1,000 event, 500 events, she can go there and do something for herself. Masters event as well. It doesn't have to be a Grand Slam, because we all know how difficult it is to win a Grand Slam. So it's just about trying to keep that consistency going, the momentum going. Hopefully more titles to come on the way.
But Biden would say slow and steady progress is what is actually expected for the lady. Can she actually, of course, see that slow and steady progress? Maybe before the end of the year, break into the top 5 of the WTA rankings. That is what we're looking forward to. But let's quickly move away from that before we quickly talk about the world of football. Yes, over the course of the weekend, it was Formula 1 that happened, and it was another major Grand Prix, the Monaco Grand Prix, and one lad who, to a large extent, have actually, sent his name on the lips of many Formula 1 followers.
It's still very early into the season. We're not even halfway done through the season yet, so he's got a lot of races. So he has to keep up the consistency. He has a 66 points ahead of his closest rival, Lewis Hamilton. But we know 66 points is not a lot when it comes to Formula 1. When you sleep, maybe you start dropping out of the podium finishes, and then your closest rival gets to get more podium finishes than you. It's always going to be very difficult to increase that lead. So for Kimi Antonelli, congratulations to the lad. Just like you said, 19 years of age. It's just that the future is quite bright. You look at him now at 19. Lewis Hamilton is 41 and is still racing. So just imagine the future ahead for Kimi Antonelli. We might just be talking about this man for the next 20-25 years to come.
We're looking forward to what gets to happen for Kimi Antonelli. Consistency would be the watchword. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll talk football on the show. Do stay with us. Welcome back once again. It is your Sports Central right here on Spectrum Television. But let's quickly head straight now to the exciting world of football. No better place to begin the conversation from than the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They are preparing for a game against the Portuguese national team that would take place just a few days before the start of the World Cup. We had about 22 players already in Lisbon, and yesterday they had, of course, some training sessions that were really heightened, with several demands by the Sekou, the national team gaffer, and they're looking forward to more preparations today ahead of the game that comes up in no distant time. Won't dwell much on that. We'll keep monitoring the progress of the Super Eagles players as regards what to expect before the start of that game. We'll talk more about them later tomorrow. But let's, of course, go straight to the camp of the women's team, which is the Super Falcons. They played their friendly match. It is actually the WAFCON preparatory game ahead of the start of the WAFCON. They played against Senegal over the course of the weekend, and they were 2-1 winners over the Senegalese women's national team. Well, the coach of the side, Justin Madugu, said, come on, we need more improvement. We need more intense performance from the ladies. And it looks like maybe the 2-1 victory over Senegal wasn't something he expected. Maybe he expected more. But in the second game that will take place still right here in the shores of the country, the man Justin Madugu said, come on, oh ye ladies, you've got to improve your performance and up the tempo of their game. Well, the sister to Shoala also was in discussions in the first game alongside midfielder Tony Payne in that 2-1 victory over their Senegalese counterpart. Well, for it is what it is at the moment. Just preparatory game ahead of the start of the World Cup. Yeah. And ladies are seeking more momentum ahead of the start of something nice.
Well, definitely. I think it's better for the Super Falcons. We've had times where they could not even participate in friendly games. So, against Senegal, we say not a formidable opponent for the national team, but still, I think it gives the ladies a run, at least, gives them the opportunity to blend with the rest of the team. We had a sort of shoreline action as well. So, it gives those ladies a chance to try to acclimatize to life together. Most of these players play in different teams, so don't need time to get used to each other. So I'm quite excited to see them get that game. Just like Justin Madugu said, we need better performances, because if you are playing a 2-1 game against the Senegalese team, it means you need to do more. There are lots of teams who are better than the Senegalese team. So what happens when we get to face them? So I think that's just the rally cry now from Justin Madugu. We need to do better in the second match against Senegal.
We're looking forward to see what gets to happen, but let's move away from that and look at other conversations. We head straight now toward the friendly matches. There were actually exciting friendly matches over the course of the weekend, but then before we talk about a few of them, we hear Manchester United, a bound player, and I'm talking about Ederson of Brazil, has been called up to the Brazil national team. He has been included by Carlo Ancelotti in the Brazil squad for the tournament after an injury to Roma right back, and I'm talking about Wesley. While the 26-year-old had been overlooked for the initial squad, recently, made that move yet to be official by Manchester United, but he's a Manchester United bound player at the moment and called up to the Brazil national team. Well, many would say, of course, quite a really, really exciting moment for Ederson. Two good things happening in the space of 1 week for him.
Oh, definitely. That's what happens when you're going to a big club. Definitely. I think if Ederson was still at outside Atalanta, it would be difficult to get that call up to the Brazilian team, especially the player who is getting out of the squad is a defender and he's a midfielder. So some would say maybe it's just about that star power now. You're moving to a top club and then you need to feature at the World Cup. So for Ederson, I would say a very good season. Last season was quite a very, very difficult season for him. He had a few injuries as well, but the previous season was very good for Ederson. So quite good for him. I think he adds a lot of quality to that Brazil midfield. We're talking about Casemiro being in one of the best form in his life since he left Real Madrid, but still, he's a player who cannot play for more than 70 minutes at a stretch, so they would always need replacement for Casemiro. We've got Bruno Guimaraes there, who also suffered with injury a lot this season, so you never can tell what's happening at the World Cup. So I think Ederson is very much going to be a good addition to that Brazilian national team.
Well, let's quickly look at other conversations. You're talking about international assignments. Christian Eriksen, over the course of yesterday, dominated headlines in the world of sports, and that's basically about the news that broke at some point in a friendly game where it happened. Christian Eriksen actually collapsed during Denmark's friendly against Ukraine, but according to the Danish Football Association, the man is actually in a stable condition at the moment. There was a stop of play in the 65th minute when he collapsed, and of course the game was abandoned shortly after, with a 34-year-old, according to what we saw, also being able to walk from the field all by himself after getting up from some minutes. But many have said after that incident yesterday that maybe it's high time for the man to quit officially from the world of football. This is not the first time we had Christian Eriksen collapse on the pitch. It happened, I think, in the last edition of the World Cup Fund.
Yeah, at the Euros.
In the Euros. It happened in the Euros where he also collapsed, and The play was stopped, and I think all through the entire duration of that tournament, he never played anymore. Yeah. And this is another situation. Well, maybe it's time to go.
Definitely, I think that's the call from every sector now, because he's 34. What's he really playing for? That's the question. Come on, it's time to just let it go, because you're putting your life on the line. I think it's not really necessary anymore. Christian Eriksen is a player who's given his best to football. He's given his best years to football. So if he calls it quits now, it's going to be to the betterment of the team and himself as a human being, because you never can tell what's going to happen the next time it happens. Because right now he has a defibrillator, sticking his heart to help him, with those issues. But it still happened with that defibrillator inside, so you never can tell what's going to happen the next time. So for Christian Eriksen, for me, I'm going to say it's time to hang those boots.
Time to hang the boots. Before we go, we hear, yes, Real Madrid incumbent president Florentino Perez has been re-elected as the president of Real Madrid. In all of what he said, he also already agreed a deal with Jose Mourinho to be the next manager. And now we hear that Jose Mourinho is on the verge of being unveiled as Real Madrid coach. The man requirement now back to the fourth setting.
Oh, definitely. I think he was quite embarrassed by most of the promises he gave, and it's good to see Florentino Perez return. I'm just more concerned about the 150 million euro deal that's going to happen. Yeah. He said on Tuesday, that's tomorrow.
We had reports of Michael Olise.
He said it's not Michael Olise.
He said it's not.
He said it's not, but we never can tell. But he said it's not Michael Olise. Some people said he's trying to deflect, so it doesn't really affect the player. So let's see what happens. Tuesday is just a few hours away. I'm quite excited about it.
Well, we hear Ruben van Persie has been sacked by Feyenoord after 16 months in charge. We'll talk more about him on return later. Tomorrow. DR Congo friendly. Yes, we hear will be played behind closed doors. There have been an outbreak of Ebola virus recently in the nation, DR Congo, and there have also been restrictions, particularly for the players traveling before the incoming World Cup. So they would have this friendly match behind closed doors, and thereafter they will prepare and of course undergo some tests before traveling to the United States of America. We also hear that Manchester City in the transfer market could prioritize more for the man Tonali of Newcastle United. Manchester United are also quite a destination for the man. He's also been targeted by the crosstown rivals of Manchester City. Martin Odegaard, in one of the friendly matches over the course of the weekend, salvaged a draw for Norway on the eve of the World Cup. Norway have been preparing in the USA and trying to adapt as well to the heat and conditions of the United States of America ahead of the start of the World Cup. How far can they go? We do not know at the moment, but we keep monitoring proceedings. I will also let you know as things are shaping up in the build-up to the World Cup. Well, here we'll have to draw the curtain. Thank you very much on today's edition of Sports Central. Thank you very much for returning.
A pleasure as always.
We'll return tomorrow. Definitely we'll have the man, Blyden Okemo, who's unavoidably absent today. Thank you very much for returning and watching. Until we come your way tomorrow, have a fabulous Monday.